What's up guys, BARRYGAMING here, back with some more Eternal Evolution, and today we're going to be really testing out a couple things with Dominic's abilities. So one of them is going to be the Fire Shuriken ultimate ability here. So it says when the mark disappears, it explodes, dealing damage equal to 100% attack, plus an additional 17% of the critical damage received during that mark's duration, of course, not exceeding this 7,000. Now the way it's worded, it makes it sound like anybody can crit that target. So what we're going to try to focus on is his damage alone. There can of course only be one marked target at a time, and this has no range restrictions. You can point it to any hero on the battlefield and then he will bolt at that target, you see, followed by Dominic's next 3 basic attacks with maximum attack speed. So here's what we're going to test out, because what I'm really wondering on is what his EX30, his exclusive 30, works like, because it says pretty much the same thing. When the mark disappears, it explodes, dealing damage to targets within a 3-meter radius, this time dealing 100% attack plus 25% of critical damage received, blah blah blah, this time not exceeding 10,000. I don't know if that is a separate effect that goes off, or if it is like, it's going to be really hard to tell if it's actually like part of his ability or not. And then on top of that, we're going to just run a Leo, just that way you guys can see what he looks like in his invisibility mode. And what we're going to try to do just for testing out, we're going to go back to like chapter 20-ish. I want to find an enemy that has like a really tanky boss of some sort. We could even go for like the healers here, so this might actually work out pretty good. So we're just gonna run a bunch of healers. We're also running, of course, Gabal. Nothing super special here, Dark Summit, things like that. So let's go up against this battle. Don't really care about the other ones because we're not finishing this battle. We're just here to test him out and see how he looks. So instantly he charged into the battle, and you can kind of see he's like phased out a little bit. And you'll notice nobody is actually targeting him either. I want to make sure I'm manually using his ability so you guys can see how it works out as well. Overall, he seems pretty good, especially if you pair him up with other crit damage heroes, but you can see, you can pretty much pick who you want to attack in this. We'll go to the back right corner. You'll notice we use the Shuriken, and then he's going to sprint at them, follow up with a bunch of little attacks, and then you'll see there's that like explosion at the end. Man, he is getting himself worked over. He might die. He might actually die. Oh no, he already did die. So yeah, you can kind of see how that works out. It doesn't necessarily look like there's a ton of stuff going on as far as like incoming damage goes. He does have that tank ability of that 75% damage reduction, but Leo has to survive essentially to make this work. Otherwise, you need like multiple vanguards and or assassin heroes. Of course, pairing him with Rickert would probably be like an absolutely amazing setup for him. So let's try this ultimate ability one more time. We'll use it on the res down here so we can clear as day see it. There's that little mark over his head, you'll see, and then there's that little bit of extra damage that went out. So you can kind of see how that looks. Now, let's jump back into him. I'm going to exclusive 30 him. It might not be the best idea, honestly, but we're going to do it just for testing's sake. So let's get him all the way up to exclusive 30. Also, our guild tech isn't exactly the best for assassins just yet. We are working on that. So now we have this on top of that. So we'll have to see how that actually works out in combat. Let's see if it's something we can easily see. So let's go back to like chapter 20. I think this was the battle. Yeah, we actually like hit the res right there. So again, let's go. Let's see if it looks like there's multiple things going off or if it's only one. And it's really going to be hard to tell either way if it's something that's happening. So we'll try to target the same target again here just to see what these abilities are doing. Our Leo is just getting lit up, which is why he's not having his damage reduction for too long. All right, let's do this again. Let's go to res here. So we do the Shuriken attack. He then comes over and attacks. Oh my god, so many ultimates going off. It's really hard to tell what's going on in this right here. And then you'll see there was that big explosion, but we don't know if, it's hard to tell if that's actually replacing his ability or not. It's really, really difficult to tell what is going on with this ultimate, because it reads the same, like it's literally the same thing, but it says enhancement, which makes me think it's just taking it and changing what it does. So instead of it doing the original one, it's going to take more critical damage they receive into consideration, and of course other stuff like that. So that's not too bad. I guess what we could do is we could try just progressing on one of these stages real quick and just have a team in here, but I want to add our Nord in because yeah, he's what I love to see in this battle. So we don't really have any other good Vanguard heroes right now. Like Don't really have Crete. Assassins, we definitely don't really have any that are that great to use right now. If we had Bailey, that would be awesome. But let's drop you out. Let's put you like in the back row, and then we'll throw our Nord in just to see how this lineup works. The Nord's probably gonna make it overkill, but we'll see. Okay, let's go. We're gonna do some manual active abilities here as well. Ultimate abilities with you. Man, he just sprints into battle so quickly. And of course, he's invisible, so he can't be targeted with attacks, which is pretty cool as well. I do imagine pairing him with like an assassin team with like Rickert and stuff like that would be really, really good. I'm going to go for the back target here. I'm going to go for Ravenia and see how this actually turns out. Now, the sad thing is nobody else is going to be critting her, but there's that explosion right there you can see. It's not bad. It's definitely not like anything super amazing. He's definitely doing more damage than Leo, but most people do more damage than Leo. Let's go up against... let's do this. I'm going to come back up to the front here just to get a hit off. And then Nord... Oh, is he going to hit here? He is. So let's see how that explosion works. Okay. There's not a ton of damage, but I think what you really need to do is you need to be running a team that has an absolute ton of critical hits coming off. And that's going to mean the explosion does the most amount of damage here. Might actually get to see a good explosion right here. Or did it already go off? I think it's still there. Yeah, there's that big explosion. So, not too bad. I'm not expecting him to do any crazy amounts of damage. But surprisingly, you can't see it. It's behind my face. Let me close this off real quick. So you can see 17.2. And that's really not doing this optimally at all. He definitely has some very big potential. Very, very big potential building him in pairing him with some other really strong assassins. Rickert definitely comes to mind because of the way that his abilities, his sword souls works out. So if you get both of them on the battlefield, that could be really, really strong because he has some survivability built into him. You might need to use some prototypes and stuff like that geared more towards assassins. We don't really have any of the assassin ones right now, which feels really bad. But eventually we will. The ones that kind of lower the damage you take, which could be really good. So we'll have to see how it works out. But overall, I don't know if it's really worthwhile. The AoE could play very, very well. And honestly, he could be a really good hero to use in a boss damage setup. Because if you have other heroes that are critting, his damage might go through the roof. Even if he doesn't do like the most damage raw just by himself, he might do some crazy high damage when paired with other critical strike heroes. So don't put him with Emma, don't put him with Leo, don't put him with those types of heroes that are made to not crit. Put them in a full crit lineup. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. I'll see you guys next time.